Hindu. Start my boss.
स्थापकाय च धर्मस्य सर्वधर्मस्वरूपिणे अवतारवरिष्ठाय रामकृष्णाय ते नमः। वसुदेवसुतं देवं त्वं धजानूरमर्दनम् देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुम्। Third chapter, Karma Yoga. Let us start with the chanting. Hope all of you are having a copy of Bhagavadgita with you. अथ तृतीयोऽध्यायः। अर्जुन उवाच जायसी चेत् कर्मणस्ते मता बुद्धिर्जनार्दन मता बुद्धिर्जनार्दन तत्किं कर्मणि घोरे मां तत्किं कर्मणि घोरे मां नियोजयसि केशव नियोजयसि केशव व्यामिश्रेणेव वाक्येन व्यामिश्रेणेव वाक्येन बुद्धिं मोहयसीव मे बुद्धिं मोहयसीव मे तदेकं वद निश्चित्य तदेकं वद निश्चित्य येन श्रेयोऽहमाप्नुयाम् येन श्रेयोऽहमाप्नुयाम् श्रीभगवानुवाच श्रीभगवानुवाच लोकेऽस्मिन् द्विविधा निष्ठा लोकेऽस्मिन् द्विविधा निष्ठा पुरा प्रोक्ता मया नघ पुरा प्रोक्ता मया नघ ज्ञानयोगेन सांख्यानां कर्मयोगेन योगिनां न कर्मणामनारम्भात् नैष्कर्म्यं पुरुषोऽश्नुते न च सन्न्यसनादेव सिद्धिं समधिगच्छति न हि कश्चित् क्षणमपि जातु तिष्ठत्य कर्मकृत कार्यते ह्यवशः कर्म सर्वप्रकृतिजैर्गुणैः कर्मेन्द्रियाणि संयम्य यास्ते मनसा स्मरन् इन्द्रियार्थान् विमूढात्मा मिथ्याचारः स उच्यते यस्त्विन्द्रियाणि मनसा नियम्यारभते अर्जुन कर्मेन्द्रिये कर्मयोगम् असक्तस्य विशिष्यते नियतं कुरु कर्म त्वं कर्मज्यायो ह्यकर्मणः शरीरयात्रापि च ते न प्रसिद्ध्येद कर्मणः यज्ञार्थात् कर्मणोऽन्यत्र लोकोऽयं कर्मबन्धनः तदर्थं कर्म कौन्तेय मुक्तसङ्गः समाचर सह यज्ञः प्रजा सृष्ट्वा पुरोवाच प्रजापतिः अनेन प्रसविष्यध्वम् येषवोऽस्पृष्टकामधुक् देवान् भावयतानेन ते देवा भावयन्तु वः परस्परं भावयन्तः श्रेयः परमवाप्स्यथ इष्टान् भोगान् हि वो देवा Ishtan bhogan hivo deva dasyante yajna bhavitaha dasyante yajna bhavitaha taidattana pradayobhyo taidattana pradayebhyo yo bhunte stena eva saha yo bhunte stena eva saha yajñasishtashinas santo yajñasishtashinas santo mutyante sarvakilbishaihi mutyante sarvakilbishaihi bhunjate te tvasam papa bhunjate te tvasam papa ye pajantyatmakaranat ye pajantyatmakaranat अन्नाद् भवन्ति भूतानि अन्नाद् भवन्ति भूतानि पर्जन्यादन्न सम्भवः पर्जन्यादन्न सम्भवः यज्ञाद् भवति पर्जन्यो यज्ञाद् भवति पर्जन्यो यज्ञः कर्म समुद्भवः यज्ञः कर्म समुद्भवः कर्म ब्रह्मोद्भवं विद्धि कर्म ब्रह्मोद्भवं विद्धि ब्रह्माक्षर समुद्भवम् तस्मात् सर्वगतं ब्रह्मा नित्यं यज्ञे प्रतिष्ठितम् एवं प्रवर्तितं चक्रं नानुवर्तयति हयः अघायुरिन्द्रियारामो मोघं पार्थ स जीवति यस्मात् मरतिरेव स्यात् आत्मतृप्तश्च मानवः आत्मन्येव च सन्तुष्टः तस्य कार्यं न विद्यते Swami Vivekananda, at one place he says, how to be successful in Karma Yoga. He says, be not afraid of anything. Be not afraid of anything. If we look into our own lives, we see from morning to evening, we fear for something or other, and we die in fear itself. You will do marvelous work. He says, if you do not have fear of anything, then you will do a tremendous, marvelous work. The moment you fear, you are nobody. Be a hero. Always say, I have no fear. Tell this to everybody. Have no fear. Now, why this fear comes? Many times this fear comes because we are always expecting something to happen in our life, or we are always expecting to get some sensual objects, or we are always expecting some desires to be fulfilled. When the desires are not fulfilled, we become disappointed, and also slowly fear enters in our mind. Who is a fearless man? A man who has no desires. A man who works not for the result of the fruits of work, not for the result of that work, but in order to do good to the others. Let me be of some help to others. When that attitude is in us, then there will be no fear. If there is no fear, you will be fearless, and every work will be successful. Because we always expect something from our work. That's why this is happening. Now, in the 27th shloka, Yasmat Varatireva Syat Atmatruptasya Manavaha Atmanyeva cha Santushtaha Tasya Karyam na Vidyate. One who is Santushtaha, is very happy in where Atmanyeva, Abhiso Atman. He is happy with himself. He is always happy within himself and with himself and for himself. Yahatu Atmarati eva sat. When does it happen? He says, Yahu, but the man, Atmarati eva syat. If a person who delights in self, self means Atman, or we also take it as God. One who is always happy with the God. One who is always satisfied with the God. Satisfied with the God means what? Whatever God gives, I am happy with that. I know God will give me only good things. God never gives any bad things or very bad effect. So, even though temporarily it may look like bad, in the long run, God always is 10 steps ahead. In the long run, that is going to do good to me. So, let me accept whatever God gives as prasadam. And always happy with the God, with the thought of the God. Atmaratihi. Everyone is an Atman. So let us enjoy it, Atman within ourselves. Atman is not somewhere outside. It is within our own heart. So be contented, be happy with your Atman. Atma Truptaha. He is satisfied with his self. That is, Atman is inside. I am satisfied with it. And Atmanyeva santushtaha. And he is contented in the self. Tasya karyam na vidyate. Such a man has no work to perform. He has no duty to perform. He may like to do work, he may not like to do work. Both are not going to affect him. He will be always happy, contented, just like if you see the life of Sri Ramakrishna, all the disciples used to say, he was always happy. I do not know how, but he was always looking happy, contented. He had no wants. He used to say, whatever I want, Mother will provide. Why should I have anxiety for anything? Let me depend on Mother. So he was always happy, contented. Not only that, people who used to come to him, they also used to be always happy. So he has tasya karyam na vidyate. He has no duty to perform. He may like to do, he may not like to do. Both are same to him. Even when he works, why? Now, the thing is, the question comes in the Karma Yoga, how long a man has to do work? This question was put to Sri Ramakrishna also by many of the household disciples. They used to ask, Sir, how long am I to go on working? Then he said, Arey, you are married, you are having wife, you are having children, and the responsibility of those people are on you. Now, you should see that your children get good education, get good job, get married, and settle themselves. Afterwards, you have no work. You're a retired person, you get the pension, learn to live contented way, and don't bother about your children afterwards. We go on clinging to them till their death. And anything happens to them, any worry, we think it is our worry, because they are our children. What do you mean by our? So, Lord Sri Ramakrishna says, they are yours only as long as they are educated and they get a job and probably when they get married. Afterwards also, if you go on worrying for them, there is no end for your life at all. So he says, then a man, one who is Atmanyevacha Santushtaha, one who is understands that now let me live a retired life. Retired life means let me spend my time only in thinking of the God. Now, the question comes again here, the different answer he gives. How long a man has to do work? Now, it's a good question. It is not that all have to do work. For example, in Karma Yoga, a man performs karma as karma yoga. If he realizes God afterwards, why should he do karma? Karma yoga is meant for what purpose? Karma yoga is till you convert or turn the karma into karma yoga. What is karma yoga? Karma yoga means I will do duty, I will do work which will help or benefit the society, not for myself, not for my family, but it is an unselfish work. When you go on doing unselfish work, automatically you will realize God. In the future, a shloka will come. Karmanaivahi samsiddhim astita janakadayaha. Janaka and others. Janaka was a great king. He was a householder, but he was also a jnani. So Janaka and others worked. How long they worked? Janaka karmanaivahi samsiddhim. By ruling the kingdom itself, they attained liberation. That means all the work which they did was a karma yoga and not karma. There is a beautiful small story comes in the life of Janaka. That is one day, Janaka and the Agnivalkya, a number of learned Brahmins, they were in the Rajya Sabha and they were discussing. What were they discussing? Not the worldly matter, not the Janaka's ruling. They were discussing about Brahman. Janaka, whenever he used to get an opportunity to discuss on this lofty subject, Brahman, he used to encourage. So Yajnavalkya and many Pandits were there. They were all sitting and discussing Brahman. The mind has gone so high because all those people had understood that this world is an unreal thing. What all we are doing, it is only for the good of the other, good of others, not for myself. When such a discussion was going on, from the palace, a soldier came, bowed down to Janaka and said, "Sir, the city is on fire. Somewhere the fire has engulfed and it is burning one little by little, the whole thing. The palace is also on fire." Janaka heard that. Janaka was the king. If there was anybody else in that position, you can just well imagine what would have been their reaction. But Janaka said, "What? Fire. Go and put off. All the people who to bring water and pour it on them and put out the fire." And again he started discussing about Brahman. He did not bother. Then after a few minutes again that soldier came, "Sir, we could not do it. The fire has spread up to the queen's palace." Then Antapura, the fire has entered. Then Agnivalkya got annoyed. "What nonsense are you talking? What is that for me? Let the palace burn. Let the whole of this, my city, burn. I don't care. I am Brahman, Supreme Brahman. You go and do whatever you can." So his mind was so high, he has understood that everything is Brahman. He has realized through the Karma Yoga itself, the realization had come to him and that Brahman alone is real. So after the Brahma Jnana, what is there for him to do? What is there to worry? Because he has understood all this world is unreal. Brahman alone is real. Brahma Satyam Jagat Mithya. Jivo Brahmaiva Naparaha. That is the highest truth in the Advaita Vedanta. That is, Brahman alone is real and this world is unreal. Jivo Brahmaiva Naparaha. And the individual self, that is the every individual human being, Brahma and the Supreme Brahman, in between them, there is absolutely no difference. That is, everything in this universe is nothing but Brahman, Brahman. So, how long a man has to do what means, it is a good question. It is not that all have to do work for lives after lives. Karma Yoga itself means a man performs karma as Karma Yoga. A man performs work as a yoga. That means no attachment. If he realizes God in a very meticulous manner, he follows Karma Yoga. And as a result, ultimately, he realizes God. When one he realizes God, that means he understands that I am Brahman and this whole universe is nothing but Brahman. Then when he realizes that, afterwards, why should he do karma? When you know a thing is unreal. So suppose, for example, there is a snake and a rope. In the evening, in the half darkness, you mistake that rope for a snake. And immediately you will bring a lamp. So long you are under the impression that it is a snake. But the moment the lamp comes and you understand it is not a snake, it is only a rope, are you going to try to kill that rope? Simply will laugh and keep quiet. Oh, it was my mistake. Similarly, as long as you do not understand this world is unreal, this world is Brahman, nothing but Brahman, when you understand that through Karma Yoga is only a means, not the end. The Karma Yoga, the end is the realization of the Brahman. Through karma, you will realize that Brahman. And afterwards, why do you enter yourself in work? You will not feel like at all because you know everything is unreal. So how long a man has to work means as long as he does not realize the goal of Karma Yoga. Once you realize the God, afterwards, why should you do karma? So for ordinary people, once they realize God, all work drops off themselves. But the case of incarnations are quite different. Krishna himself tells in the later, Name parthasti kartavyam. O Arjuna, I do not have any work to do. That means I am not in bondage. I understand everything is unreal. But still, Trishulokeshu kinchana, not only in this world, in all the three worlds, I do not have anything to do. But nanavaptam amaptavyam. Why? Because there is nothing which I have not attained. I have attained the highest of me. I have attained everything the highest. That is, the Brahman itself I have attained. Then afterwards, what is there? Even then, Krishna tells, because I am God myself, I continue to work because of the good of the world. Vartayevacha karmani. Even though I do not have any karma or work to be done, still I continue to do for the good of the world. The great incarnations, they go on working because they have come, while coming itself, they are all realized souls. They knew that this world is unreal. And still they work because let good happen, let adharma get destroyed, let dharma get established. We all know in the 11th chapter of the Bhagavadgita, Krishna Bhagavan shows Vishwarupa to Arjuna. What did Arjuna saw in that Vishwarupa? The whole universe, Krishna is burning to ashes. Everybody, Kauravas, Pandavas, they all come and fall into the fire, which is in the body of Lord Krishna. After a few minutes, when Arjuna requests, enough of your Vishwarupa, show me your normal form, Krishna laughingly becomes again the old Krishna and stands in front of him. Then Krishna tells to Arjuna, "Oh Arjuna, this is my real nature. But for the sake of this world, for the sake of you all, I am behaving as if I am a human being like God, Krishna." So there is nothing remains to be attained once you realize the God. So for God realization, you need all these 4 yogas. One of the yogas you take over and go on. It is a path. Karma yoga is a path, not the goal itself. The goal is realization of the Brahman, or realization of the God. So he says, earlier, Lord Krishna also said that all should work, but are there men who are free from this law? Now, Krishna also told all of you should work. Why? Because you are in ignorance. You are in ignorance. You have not realized the God. Till you realize God, all will have to work. And without work, a man cannot stay even for a single second. There is another also. The cause for the work is, the reason for the work is, we are Rajasic. Where all the 3 gunas are in us, Sattva, Rajas and Tamas. So, this Rajas make you work. You cannot sit quiet even for a single minute. You try one full day. You have got Sundays, holidays. One day you try, let me not do any work today. Simply let me relax. You should not talk with others also. Stay in your room. Have all the food, everything etc. in your room. But morning to evening, remain alone. Don't do any work. You will understand after 5 minutes, you will feel that how difficult it is. Because by nature, man is Rajasic. Rajas itself means force you to do something or other, good or bad. Or something or other you go on doing. That is, you don't give rest to your own body, mind. Mind also needs rest. You keep your mind one day at least, let us say, now I went 1 hour. Let not any thought be in my mind. Let me simply sit quietly. You need not meditate. You need not do japam. Relax. Simply relax. You will understand how quickly you become tired and you feel like doing something. Something or other we start doing it. So, because of that, because we are in ajnana, ignorance, we think we are body, we are mind, we have forgotten that within our own heart there is God. And let me think of the God for some time. You should go on thinking of the God for some time. And if you have become successful and realize God within yourself, afterwards you will say yourself that I have no duty to perform in this world. Because God is my all in all. And God will do everything for me. I need not have to do it. But earlier, Lord Krishna said that all should work. But are there men who are free from work, free from this law? That is the question arises. All should work, Krishna said. Then is there no people who are not, have no work? There is no work for those who are Atmaramas. Atmarama means that is those who delight only in the self. The Rishis used to sit in the forest. They were not going anywhere. They did not want anything. They were always happy. Why? Because the moment they closed their eyes, they could see the Lord within their heart. So till then you have got work, and afterwards they are called as Atmarama. Rama means one who enjoys, one who feels delighted in his heart. In Atman. Those who find delight in their Atman, they are called as Atmarama. Those who delight only in the Atman, they don't find any enjoyment in worldly pleasure. We go on working. What is the cause of our working? If you see, analyze, you will understand. The cause is always we want something of the world, some pleasure, in whatever type it may be. To fulfill that pleasure, we go on working. So those who delight in Atman, they are not bound by worldly desires. As Sri Ramakrishna says, one who has tasted sugar does not run behind jaggery. He says jaggery is this worldly pleasure, and sugar is God. Once you realize God, then the bliss, the joy of the Atman is so much, you don't find or you don't feel like enjoying these worldly pleasures at all. So, if they work, and even though they go on doing work, why? It is not to attain something for themselves, but for the good of others. Sri Ramakrishna used to go on preaching the whole day. Whoever comes, he will go on talking about God. Why? Was it necessary for him? Means absolutely not. He can simply sit and remain in samadhi, in joy. He used to talk to the people about God, because to inspire them, to make them understand, realizing God, the highest work or responsibility or the duty of a human being. Having been born, don't spend your time in vain. Think of God, try to realize God and attain God. So, it is just like rivers. Rivers, you see, rivers will go on flowing. Always they are flowing. Either from hills to the down, or in the plain also, wherever it gets down, there it will go on continuously flows. How long? Till they reach the ocean. And once they reach the ocean, they go on merge in the ocean. They don't weep. Oh, my name is going away. I was Ganga all this time. Now I will become ocean. It does not weep, because ocean is its original form. Once it reaches ocean, it is fully connected. Apuryamanam acharat pratishtam samudrama provision. The beginning of the Prarthana shlokas of Bhagavadgita, it comes now. Fulfillment of Apuryam, attaining that is the goal of every human being. Then when you attain that, then you will understand you and Lord Krishna are not two different beings. You are Lord Krishna, Krishna is you. So till you attain that state, you have to do it. Similarly, the river will go on flowing until it reaches the ocean. Once it reaches the ocean, it is completely contented. Similarly, in Karma yogis go on working till they realize God. So it should not be a mere work, it should be a Karma yoga. But there are certain people who are born perfect. They may not have to realize God at all. They may work or they may not work at all. If they work, it is for the good of the others. There is no compulsion on them that you should do work. They like, they do it. Why they do? Let good be happen to all others. For that sake, they go on working. So, but we should remember that such people are very few. How many God realized souls you will get, very few are there. In people are up, I mean, you will say generally, in general, people are always after sense pleasures. Why do you work? You just imagine and think and sit for a minute and think why I should work. You will understand there that you have a lot of desires in your heart, and calling that as a duty, you will go on working, working. But the same thing, if you do it with an unselfish manner, let it benefit others, not only myself. With that attitude, if you do, then that it becomes karma yoga. But that such people are very few. They want only worldly enjoyments. But there are few whose aim is to realize God. They take up the karma yoga and they work not for themselves, but to do the good to the others. Then if you are working for others, that becomes karma yoga. If you are working for yourself, it will be only karma. So Lord Krishna here he says, you all should become karma yogis. And always before doing any work you think, how is it going to help others? How is it going to help others? That attitude if you do, then you will automatically realize God through karma yoga. And Krishna gives in later on, he gives the example of Janaka, Ashwapati, and all the great kings were there. They were, even though they were in the world, they were least attached to the world. Their aim was always, when will I see the Lord? When will I have the bliss of Brahman? This was their attitude. So we also, those who want to take up to karma yoga, those who want to realize God, should take up to this karma yoga and perform work as yoga, not as work. Work for the sake of yoga. If we can do like that, then this path will lead us to realize God. So next we shall stop it with this. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tat Tat Shri Krishna Arpanamastu.
Thank you, Samjay.